Welcome to the Sam
and M
podcast bonus show number 1. Our first bonus going in the can today, as we are going to do a actually it'll be bonus 1A and bonus 1B is probably the best way to put it.
both of which are wonderful.
Yeah, they are. So we had a chance to hang out with some of our Run Disney royalty while we were at the Springtime Surprise 2024 in April. And, well, I guess this is dropping on Monday, so a week ago, just over a week ago, 8 days ago.
Yeah.
So we've got 2 editions we're going to be dropping in this series. One is with Manny Runs Disney. Well, first off, before we get to that, we need to thank our sponsors. Because, by the way, it is the Sam and M podcast, samwalkerobxnews.com. Find us on your favorite podcast app, YouTube, Facebook. Like, follow, subscribe. That subscribe is a big deal, especially on YouTube. That will boost it showing up in your timelines when you go on YouTube. Helps the show. Hit the bell, share, all that good stuff. We are sponsored by StatelinePowerWash.com, Miles Carpet Cleaning, Harlow Photography, Caribbean Pools and Spas, CoinJock Catering Company, and CMIT Solutions of the Outer Banks. So, can't hear that one enough. The old introduction, welcome ceremony that used to happen out at the train station. So we had the distinct privilege to be joined again by 2 members of Run Disney royalty. And the first one that we're going to hear from is this guy, Manny Runs Disney. I had to pick that photo with the Figment topiary during Flower and Garden this year. Manny can be found on Facebook, Manny Runs Disney. Just search Manny Runs Disney on Facebook. You can also, of course, find him on YouTube. That's how I got connected to him, was through YouTube. He is a vlogger, but focuses on Run Disney. He does some other things as well. We're going to talk with him. But Manny's become a friend. I mean, not only social media, but now we've gotten a chance to hang out with him. And, you know, it's just like everything else we talk about with the Run Disney family.
Yeah, it was so cool. Like last year at Springtime Surprises when we first met him.
Yep.
But we had been watching him for quite a while. We have a pretty, I'd say, kind of boring life. We have YouTube on, and we had watched him and thought he was so cool. And he just had a lot of good advice along the way too. Like really, that's what we
right.
were like, oh, he's got some good advice. And
Yeah.
you had not run yet.
Right.
And so here we had been watching for the bill, watching before we left for springtime last year. Mm-hmm. And then we were kind of talking to him out in front of the circle, remember? And we were taking our pictures, and we were kind of talking to him, and he's like, I don't mean to be rude. He's very nice. He's like, but I need to go talk to Jonathan. And it was like Jonathan Siebert.
Yes.
And it was like, oh my gosh, another
Yeah.
Disney royalty. And it was like, oh my gosh, there's 2. I mean, it is. But Manny, and then, follow him another year and had reached out to him and asked, hey, would you be willing to? He's like, yeah, of course. And then sitting with him, well, you all will see, but it was amazing. He's just a really cool guy.
Yeah. Well, and what Manny does is, as you can see here, as he Mike Wazowski'd himself in his finish photo during, I believe that's the 5K, with his GoPro. What Manny does is 2 things. One, he vlogs the run. So he actually will record the entire run rather than some people who live stream the runs. Manny records it on a GoPro, handheld GoPro, which get ready because I'm getting one of those because that would have been so much easier to do what we were doing during the trip. But what Manny does then is he edits those and he goes through the whole process of the interview, but he also does his own reviews of his updates, his tips. He does a lot of cool tips about not only registration for Run Disney events, but other things going on. But he primarily focuses on Run Disney. That's how we got connected with him. So, but you can find him again, Manny Runs Disney. Search him on YouTube and on Facebook. And we're going to hear from Manny here in just a moment. But first, We want to thank some of our sponsors, and that includes, I just reorganized all of the music beds, and now I've lost them. That includes State Line PowerWash.com, pressure washing, soft washing, painting, concrete floor sealing, but they do more than just that. StateLinePowerWash.com, locally owned and operated by Parker and Smith Hammer, who grew up here in Currituck with local staff. So you know you're keeping it local with State Line Power Wash. Now, you've been watching it algae grow all winter, and it's still growing and getting worse and changing colors on you now. And the HOA, they're just going to hit you with that letter sooner or later. Now, get out there before things start getting really crazy and get State Line's unique soft washing technique to clean up the pollening on your roof, siding, and driveway. Don't forget about the gutters. State Line Power Wash gets out all that debris that's collected from all the winter storms before we get one of those afternoon and evening shower and thunderstorm activity that fills them up, brings them down. You can buy or sell a home or land with Smith Hammer too. That's Kingdom Real Estate Services. List your home with Smith, receive a free power wash, roof wash, or deck cleanup, all included from State Line Power Wash. Ready to freshen up the outside or inside of your home? The State Line Power Wash will get you covered with their painting and staining services that'll brighten the look of your primary home that's going on the market, or your vacation rental. With over 150 five-star reviews on Google, you know whatever you have State Line Power Wash do for you, it's going to be top-notch. From Milliot to Manio, Edenton to Duck, schedule now with State Line Power Wash. StateLinePowerWash.com or call 252-421-3775 for your free estimate. Now we're going to put Emily to work. She's going to get to do some spot reading here today on the show. So who you got over there?
I've got Miles Carpet Cleaning.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Spring is here, and that dingy carpet and furniture is begging you to get them clean like the rest of the house. Miles Carpet Cleaning will get those carpets, rugs, upholstery, even vehicle interiors looking and smelling like new. Serving Currituck and the Outer Banks, the Miles Carpet Cleaning family has been cleaning things up on both sides of the water for the last 8 years. Their $99 special can't be beat. Get 3 rooms and a hallway clean to perfection, including an orange scent carpet deodorizer and Scotch Guard. For just $99 from Miles Carpet Cleaning. Call now, 252-207-6707. Find more great offers by following Miles Carpet Cleaning on Facebook. Robert Miles and his family will take care of you like you're one of the family. Forget the rest. Call the best. Miles Carpet Cleaning, 252-207-6707. That's 252-207-6707.
Not bad. I will not look at you anymore while you're reading, doing reads.
You made me laugh. I love Miles.
I know, we love Robert. Yes. So I will not
cleaning.
do that to you, okay? Great job for your first venture into the spot reading business.
Well, I did want to say when it said get them clean like the rest of the house, I was like, well, I have spent 7 hours today cleaning our house. So I was like, yes. But we don't have any carpets. But I just
we have a
need
couch.
them to come clean the couch.
You need to come clean that couch again. All right. We got more folks to thank here before we hear from Manny. Ready to dive into something new? Caribbean Pools and Spas, the official pool and spa service company of the Sam and M podcast, is now hiring service professionals for the 2024 season and beyond. Caribbean Pools and Spas is looking for dedicated individuals who enjoy being outdoors and want to create unforgettable experiences for our customers. With outstanding pay, instant incentives, flexible weekly schedules, hands-on training, and full support from the great Caribbean Pools and Spas management team that'll back you up. Routes are available right now from Corolla to South Nags Head and everywhere in between. Call today, 252-480-2900. That's 252-480-2900. Or drop an email to alex@caribbeanobx.com. That's alex@caribbeanobx.com. Whether you're an experienced pro or just starting out, Caribbean is the best pool and spa service company to work for on the Outer Banks. I should know. I work for them too and love it. Join our team and make a splash with the official pool and spa service company of the Sam and M podcast, Caribbean Pools and Spas. All right, welcome back to the Sam
And
podcast. And joining us now is Disney vlogging royalty. I'm going to say it. It is Manny Runs Disney. Find him on YouTube. Find him on Facebook. Manny's become a friend through social media. We ran into each other a year ago at Springtime Surprise. And thanks for joining us here on the podcast. First off, tell everybody who you are, what you do.
First of all, that's very humbling that you announced me that way. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. What I do is I started a channel about 5-6 years ago. Did it more for friends and family who were asking questions about what this is about, what are my experiences. It started growing from there. People started asking questions, and I'm just so happy I can help so many people. And believe it or not, I sometimes even feel like a failure because when people say, hey, I didn't get in or I didn't do this, man, I'm going to try again, but I still feel like, man, I let them down a little bit. But that's just me. I'm here and I try to help as much as I can, whatever I can do.
It's funny how you say how it started as family and friends, because that's really what we started our show as a way, really, because we had all our friends saying, hey, you guys need to do a podcast. I mean, I've been on the radio for 3 decades, all that stuff, but to be able to share our lives in a way that maybe has an impact on somebody, whether it's the weight loss, whether it's the running, whether it's the news, whatever it is. But for you, now you've got such a broad audience because it's expanded not just beyond your family and friends. It's expanded into the Run Disney community. How rewarding has that been?
So actually, I almost felt like you were going to lead up to the next step, which was this is my Run Disney family. Yeah. And so and you probably feel it as much as I do. Whenever we get there, it's a family. You know, we don't let people give up. We encourage each other. We try our hardest. When, I always look at it, there's no such thing as failure. If you learn from it, it's called an experience. And so we try to help people look at it that way instead of, like getting down on themselves. But I think it was a natural step to become part of a bigger family. I witnessed something today that I thought was great. I start in the back a lot of times with the balloon ladies, and I stay there, and I guess just to get a different perspective. But back there are also they're a lot more famous than I am. The Dead Last Starters are out there. David Thompson of the Dead Last Starters, so name dropping because he didn't get into the run, but he did one of the classiest moves I ever, this is what I preach about. He didn't get into it, but he was out there on mile marker 3 cheering us on. And I keep trying to tell people, hey, you didn't get in. You can still be part of this Run Disney community, this family, by volunteering, by being out there and cheering us on. I've done both of those before. And you still feel as part of the family, so it's just a natural step. That's the natural next step.
And on that, I don't think people understand. To me, the real MVPs are the people cheering. Now we have kind of. We've gotten into Kelsey's Hope, and that's a big community for us. And I remember before I even did that, seeing them on the course, and them just cheering everybody on, whether they knew them or not. Like, hey, you got this. And I think they're out there all those cheerleaders are out there from the first to the last. Where we get done, we do our thing and we can go. And I just think people don't understand, that is a great part of the Run Disney community is the cheerleaders. And I think you saying that really hits on something that a lot of people, making lemons out of lemonade, but you're really doing a lot for those of us out there trudging along.
Exactly. And, you mentioned Kelsey's Hope, and I've become friends with them over the years now. And so they cheer me on, they cheer everybody on. And I think that one of the misconceptions is when you become part of the Run Disney community, it doesn't matter where you come from, and it doesn't matter, people are going to cheer you on, and probably in a way you didn't expect. You're going to see a charity out there, and they're going to be cheering everybody on, and it's that's part of the Run Disney family. And one of the things that I love, and we were just talking about it this morning, was Riley Claremont, and one of the things that he brings out is the stories that he tells. And I pause a lot of times to just listen to the stories, because the stories are very, very humbling when you think about it, because it's a privilege to be out here and to be able to run these magical miles. And not only that, when you were talking about volunteering and cheering on, cheerleaders are a huge part of the magical miles, and some or another I keep thinking, man, so that's why I run with the shirt and it says we love our volunteers, and because we do, they're taking it for granted, but I think, with awareness, I think it's gotten better and better. I really like the fact that people are now stopping and thanking the volunteers on a regular basis.
And didn't you volunteer Princess Weekend? Or recently, didn't you do a volunteer?
I did. It was for the Princess 5K, and I was dead set on giving away the medals, and I just and I this is yeah, I did it because I wanted to see the look on people's faces as they were handing the medals. And not only that, you have a lot of newbies, a lot of people who have never done this before. You mentioned weight loss goals, health goals, children who have just been introduced, and just the look on their face was, I mean, I could have gone that whole weekend and not gotten a medal, and I would have walked away with a million medals. It would have been so good. It was awesome.
I heard it. I heard it in your voice. The same way. You get caught. You get those moments. We had one today seeing running Captain Jack out there today afterwards, and everybody's waiting in line for their photos. Young lady's in a wheelchair, and he comes up. And
there's a bag that I think the mother had pushed her maybe and had a bag that had some bracelets in it, and he took one out. I think they were trying to give to him, but took one out and he put it on, and I think he put one on her. We were going to actually try to just get our picture with him, because he is we both turned away and we both had tears coming. It was the most touching thing to see somebody who, again, is kind of famous in the running world, and he made an impact not only on that, and it wasn't just us. We were behind the wheelchair, but there was a group of people in front. It wasn't just us he impacted, or that young lady. It was all of us. We all walked away with the feeling of, this is pretty cool. This just some nice gesture can really go a long way in somebody's world, their day, their week, their life. I don't know. I don't think people make fun of us all the time, and have for decades, because we come to Disney all the time. Oh, y'all going to Disney again? I just don't know that people understand. It does have, at least for me, I feel like it really doesn't. I didn't understand it till I was a grown up and brought my own children and started this process. I don't know. It's magical. It really is. And you can have an impact. But we saw that today, and we both turned around and we were like, we don't want a picture. We already have it in our hearts, what we saw.
Jogging Captain Jack Sparrow is, you're talking about, I walk up to him and go like this. He is just so awesome, and just the fact that he never breaks character, and that he does his acts of kindness within that character is amazing. It is wonderful to watch, and that's, you are right. That's what Disney is about. And you know what, you were talking about that, because I have friends of mine who, and they're little by little, they don't even question me anymore. Most of them, a couple of them do, but they see, and I think this is the part of it, is they see the magic that you talk about. They see that you come back, preaching the magic, and you're living the magic. Well, they're working and stuff, but it's almost like they say, how can I? After a while, they almost how can I share in that kind of magic? And I said, well, you have to, let yourself go, come in, and then free yourself to look around. To piggyback on that, yesterday I saw, and I'm not sure if you guys saw this, there was a group at the end of Corral D where I was, and they were dressed up like the 101 Dalmatians. There was a big group of them, and about more than half of them were disabled. They had Down syndrome, autistic, and so forth, and you could basically tell. And I went, and they were from France, so I was trying to chit chat with them. There was a language barrier, but you could tell they were excited and everything. So today, some of them ran, and I have it on video. And they would, towards the end, they started passing me up, and this is one of those times when I'm excited that people are passing me up, because you see these people who have disabilities, and they're doing, and it's just amazing. And you see the looks on their face, and I'm sitting there going yes, this was what Run Disney is about. And and I think they finished. I hope they finished, and I was cheering for them. But yes, I that's what Run Disney's about, is opening your heart to just all these different things, and I love the stories where, when I'm not supposed to be here. I was told I could never do this, and next thing you know is you're here, and not only that, and more importantly, you prove to yourself that you could do this. Let alone nobody else can judge you or anything, but you prove to yourself that you can come out and you can do this.
That's one of the cool things about coming here. We don't talk just about the Run Disney part. It's in general, whether it's me wearing a tutu today during the 10K, or the costumes, or the fact that you've got these young ladies and young women, as you said, who have something that's holding them back, but they're able to come here. They're accepted. There's so many different things that are done to make their lives a little better when they're here. At the same time, it's, I see it a lot with people who otherwise would not have a social life if it wasn't for the Disney parks community, the Run Disney community. We see that all the time when we come here so much because we're here so much. People see it once or twice and look at these people and they're like, the general public may see that, but we just talked about that. This place is so accepting. We're all accepting. We all become part of one big family because we all have to share this love for all these different intellectual properties, to put a business term into it.
And people go home. It doesn't just end at the race. You get on Run Disney every day. It's one of my top. I hit it several times during the day on Facebook, and yeah, there are going to be some complainers, there are going to be some haters, but for the most part, you see people. They're like, is her name Glenda Adams? I don't know if you know that Glenda. She's like, I think she lives in Minnesota or Wisconsin, whatever. I just love her. She's an amazing runner. She always dresses up, and she's like, you can tell I'm the only Disney runner at this race today. I'm the only one who dressed up, and she's like full gear, but everyone else is like in Wisconsin like this or whatever. Like, you get to see people in their lives a little bit outside of Disney too, and they want to share that, and it is a community. Our friend Jonathan, that's how we saw you last year. You were actually getting ready to go talk to Jonathan Siebert, and Jonathan now texts me every couple of days, how you doing, what's going on, like, they become part of your family, like you're saying, outside of just this weekend of greatness and fun. So I don't know.
Let's talk about you, and let's talk about what the channel's about, but also how folks can find it. But how did this start? We talked a little bit about that, but you were talking about helping your friends and family. But now you're doing this, you've got a lot of content you're putting out. I mean, just kind of give us a little the background, the process for you.
Man, you're making me think. That's a good one. So what I do is I actually, you were talking about, I watch the social media, and I always take, when somebody complains and maybe take it to the positive side and maybe put it in the form of a question. So what I do, a lot of my content is I either there is people that have constructive, questions. They kind of say, hey, how do we do this and stuff. And again, I have some friends of mine who I met here. It's grown, so now they're my personal friends and stuff, and they go, hey, you haven't talked about this, or hey, this is this, and I said, you got a great point here, so let's go ahead and make a video so that way, people can actually see, what it's about. And I always say this, I go, I don't work for Run Disney. So everything that I have is based out of experience. I do talk to the Run Disney people as much as I can to get, to find out what's going on as much as I can. But on the most part, I like to do that to make the steps easier for a person to understand what is going on. I run with a gentleman sometimes by the name, I call him Prince Eric in the videos, and he and I were just talking about this. He goes, we take it for granted now because we've done this for so long. And so it's time for us to help the next group of people and what they're going to try to accomplish. So how can we make it as easy for them? And so get a lot of messages saying, hey, can you talk about this? Then the good news is I get a lot of them saying, now I understand it. So it's a good thing. And so but you know what? Every single time I think there's not, everything's been answered. Somebody asks a question and I have to say they're going like, Man, that's a great question. Like I didn't think about that, but let's go ahead and let's put it in the form of an answer. And so, so that's usually my thought process that goes through it. I do sometimes ask people. I say, "What do you think? Should we talk about this? Should we, go from there?" I do as much research as I can, and of course, a lot of personal experiences.
How long have you been a runner? How long have you been running?
So I have two lives as a runner. When I was in high school, believe it or not, this was about 65 pounds ago. I was an all-state cross-country runner. So I was pretty good in my state of Texas, and so now, granted, being pretty good, I was a top in my school, but in my city we had some fantastic runners, and so there's still to this day some friends of mine, and they were in different schools, and back then we were supposed to be enemies and stuff, and we're all Facebook friends, and we cheer each other on and stuff, and these guys are still fantastic runners and stuff. I don't think any of them come out to run over here, but they run throughout, and they are very supportive. So they always they always like my content and everything. So that's it. So that was my first life as a runner, and then I just stopped. I just really, really stopped. Then I went through an injury. You guys are going to get an exclusive. I'd never thought about this, and I got hurt really, really bad about 20 years ago. I was moving, and I dropped a television set on my leg, and so if you can see, I'm missing part of this muscle right in here. So it's a lower thigh muscle, and so I could not even walk for about 2 months. It was just crutches that I couldn't move my leg at all, and I take it for granted because I still remember at that time the doctor, the orthopedic surgeon said, you're always going to walk with a limp, and you're never going to run again. Is the two things that he told me. And again, I take it for granted to this day because it took about a year for me to rehab it, and obviously I'm out here running. And so when I started running again, I just fell in love with Run Disney. I actually did. I did a lot of the rock and roll series, and they were fun, but this became family. It was just a different set. But so the last, about 16 years ago, I ran, it was 2008, I ran Disneyland half marathon. A couple years later, I did my first Disney World run, which was Wine and Dine at nighttime. Well, we started at nighttime. Next January, again, I'm going way back, where I still remember finishing that run. About a week later, I got online and was able to register for the marathon, and which you cannot do anymore if it sells out so quickly. So I remember I remember walking up there, and you could still register that day of, and so that was 2011. And true story. So I still remember I finished my first marathon. I was excited. I got my medal. I'm walking around the parks with my medal, and all of a sudden people had 3 medals because they had just started with the Goofy. And I kept thinking, man, I got to put this away because I didn't do anything. And so then the next year I said, okay, I'm going to do Goofy. So I did it. I did Goofy. And next thing I know is people had 4 medals because back then it was the 5K and then the Goofy half and the full. So I said, okay, I still didn't do it all. Very next year was the very first Dopey. So I did the first Dopey. And I am not a perfect Dopey because I stopped. I've done Goofy on and off. And so, but I will be doing Dopey in January. And thanks to Jonathan Siebert. He reached out to me and he said he wanted to run, and he goes, "Will you run with me?" And how can you turn Jonathan down? Well,
Sam's gonna do the half. I'm supposed to work that weekend. I'm a pharmacist, so I already know my rotation. But now I'm gonna have to come and be a cheerleader. I'm gonna have to cheer.
So if anybody ever wants to, just see a picture of positivity, just look up Jonathan Siebert, and so and I never want to say because he's turned what most people consider disability, and he has turned it into this huge, just positive person that when you're around him, you just don't want to leave. It's just he's a
sweet person, but he's very determined. He's very I just love him. Have you ever seen his he showed us a picture of his bedroom wall. It looks like Spaceship Earth. Am I doing it right? Looks like your shirt. And I said, did you do that? To me, anyone who has the patience to tape off and do that, like that is on a whole nother level. He will succeed at anything he puts his mind to, because I'm like, Jonathan, that's crazy. But he's just a sweetheart. Definitely in our family, a family member now. He reaches out to us, and so we'll have to figure it out. I'll have to figure it out.
Figure it out now. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So, when you, I mean, how does it work for you as far as posting videos? Because you have a pretty regular schedule, right?
I try to keep a real regular schedule. I was traveling for work a couple weeks ago, so I wasn't able to post one in 2 weeks. It just so happened to coincide with there wasn't a lot of news going on at that time, so it was perfect. But I did take my recording stuff just in case I had to record. So that was yeah. So you know the drill. And so that was there. But on the most part, I try to take out a video a week. During the off season, I try to make it a little bit more educational, so that way people will get to the either registration or the race themselves and will know what to do. So I try to record the expo from when I get there, from when I actually leave here to get there and show them everything. So that way when people see it, they have a little bit, and there is going to be a little change because they've never experienced it before, but at least they'll have a little bit of familiarity, and so they'll go like, "Oh, Manny went here, and so Manny did this," and then hopefully it helps them. So, but yeah, and I'm going to try all the way to the next run because we're basically tomorrow's the end of the season. Season starts again in September in Disneyland, so I'll be there again. So,
Got 2 more questions. One, what's your favorite distance?
the perfect distance to me is it's like a 10K. Because it's not as strenuous on the body, and I mean I think, and it's just a perfect distance to share, with people that you're running. But I do have to say I like the half marathons a lot too because that's when a lot of people are now pushing themselves to another level, and it is very rewarding. That you hope that you can help carry people across the finish line, and so that's one of the things that I do like doing. But I have to say, ultimately, if I was going to be like for the rest of my life, you ask me, hey, what distance would you run if you could only one race over and over and over? It'd be the 10K.
What's your favorite race weekend? What's your favorite?
I will say this: the hat, for me, kind of gives it away that we have not gotten a Star Wars race because this was the Star Wars weekend, and we talked about that when we first met last year. Yeah. That this would normally be Star Wars weekend, but yeah, what's your favorite?
That's a really hard question because they all are so unique, and and I'll start with the series and then I'll go on because, well, obviously Star Wars. And Star Wars, people forget that we actually used to run, and if you remember, into scenes of the movie. And so that was a uniqueness of that run. And there was always 2 scenes, a compact scene, and then the one where you're reaching, you were stuck, you had to turn it around because the Yeti was coming for you and you were reaching for your lightsaber. That was a great weekend. I just thought it might have been a little bit more difficult for them to take everything out and so forth. That might have been it. But then, I Wine and Dine, I'm perfect for the challenge. So I've been doing that one ever since they brought it back and they switched it over to the challenge. And I still love that one because there's also a concert series going on, so that's a good one. For marathon weekend, it's just the biggest one. I think it's like the granddaddy of them all, so that's the one that started it all. So that's a great one. Princess, I only started doing about 3 years ago. But that's when I started running with the Balloon Ladies and introduced me to a different perspective. So I always have to give them, give them so much respect because they introduced me to a new way of looking at Run Disney. And of course, Springtime Surprise, which is changing, it's ever changing. And I like the distances. But if so you say, all right, you can only do one the rest of your life, and that's it. I would say Wine and Dine because of the music. I like coming back afterward the last day and going to the music and the party. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and I like that the Wine and Dine give me the 5K, the 10K, and the marathon. No. I mean, the half. I like that distance. But for me, personally, since I'm not allowed to come run Princess, I've been told I will never get to run Princess because that's her girls trip.
You can run it. You just aren't allowed to come with me and my girlfriends. Yeah, and hang out. You can hang with Manny.
Yeah, I'll go hang with Manny. Yeah. So that's why I've signed up to run the half at the marathon. Going to do it through Kelsey's Hope. So, we're going to raise the money for that. So I got time to do that. But that's, to me, is like the bucket list, is getting to run through Magic Kingdom, getting to run down Main Street, through Tomorrowland, but also getting to run backstage. I love that. For me, is, and that's what's fun about watching your videos, because you go in and you and Manny will do we'll do POV, you do POVs during the races. So, and that's what I want to talk about next, was how you do that. But for me, it's getting to go backstage, behind the scenes, the stuff that for me, it's the business of show, having been in show business as long as I have, but getting a chance to see it from behind the scenes and how everything is done. I mean, even where the dumpsters are and the empty kegs are. I mean, that to me is the coolest part. But the behind the scenes stuff that we get to see, but give us a little bit of the behind the scenes for you, how this week goes for you from start to finish as far as getting all the content put together.
That is just years and years of practice. And so actually, it was, ironically enough, somebody asked me, because they say, how does it, and I still don't think it's very stable, but I run with the GoPro, but it's practice. You have to run and practice. So I think to answer your question, preparation starts before. So I do run with my GoPro, hold it, and try to see if I can get it as stable as possible. Mistakes are made, so it still happens. So that's that. I have to, and I have to, like, it's funny because for every race, I got to erase everything that I have before within a certain, like in the cameras and everything, and then I got to upload it. I do a quick watch. It's a very quick watch, because just to make sure everything is I'm not a fan of cuss words, especially in this stuff. So like if I hear anything like that, then I go, okay, I can split it here and stuff like that. So it's a quick edit, and then as of now, the 10K is uploading right now. It should be on in a couple of hours, and so that's it. But just like you, I'm pretty sure. So I have a suitcase with just my my video stuff and ready to go.
So you and when we say the POV, the point of view videos, you're doing start to finish, and with some, like you said, some minor edits. That's your style as far as those go. And then you're doing your sit down camera, your one shots. That's the other videos you do.
So yeah, the ones that I film, I try to film as much as I can without just boring in between. So that's the part that I bring out as much. So when we're coming up to a character, try to get as much there. Obviously the parks, I'll stay within the park. The hardest part to me sometimes, especially now, is carrying extra. And actually, now I have 4 extra batteries. And so when you run with them, so you have to switch them out every once in a while. I actually used to have with a charger, and I had 2, so I'd be charging one while the other one was being used. And so this is just so much better. And so that's it. But with the GoPro, I actually had tried the chesty, so it was on the chest, but I realized that bounced around way too much. And then the one that had the headpiece, the one that I did use that for when I was doing the volunteering, because I could show that there, and it was a little bit more stable, but when you're running, it's not as stable. So I just chose to carry the GoPro, and so far it's done the deal.
I say watching your videos, it's not a lot of bounce, but also you get just enough to feel like you're actually running. That's the cool thing. It's, to me, to watch your stuff, to watch everybody, whether it's the different Ron on the Go and all the different ones that we watch on a daily basis, Resort TV 1, they're out there, and I bought one of those gimbals. I'll admit it, I bought it and tried it, and it's just so cumbersome to run with. Yeah. When I saw you the other day, I was like, man, I got to figure out what Manny's doing. And you're just using a simple GoPro. That's a great idea. I didn't think about that.
It was a simple GoPro, and it's funny because I actually found footage from an event. It was the first Avengers run that I did out in California, and I was using an older GoPro which did not have the built-in stability. Oh, okay. And so it gave me a headache just watching it. So that's why I haven't released it yet, but that footage. But a friend of mine just said, hey, wouldn't there be maybe an app now that would help with bounce? So if I do find it and I can balance it out, I will put it out there. But yeah, it was pretty bad, the footage and stuff. And you lived and you learned, and so you did that, and little by little I've kind of, and it's not a perfect thing. You just keep working on it, because they bring out, GoPro is a really good company. They bring out new ways of filming, and actually they listen to you. So if you email them on a regular basis, they listen to you and they bring out something that can help.
GoPro could watch this. And
yeah, exactly.
Manny and Sam, the latest and greatest, and they can talk about it. Come on, GoPro, come on.
All right, Manny, remind everybody how to find you, where you're at on socials, all that stuff.
So I make it very simple. I'm on social media. I'm still learning Instagram, so that's that one. But I'm on Instagram, and I'm, of course, on Facebook, and it's Manny Runs Disney. I make it very easy. The YouTube channel is, I still have Manny Runs Disney and the Runnin' Ears. So in case people forget the Runnin' Ears, they can just do Manny Runs Disney, and they can find me on YouTube. But I'm usually very, very good, and I apologize if I never answer. But if I never answer, that means I missed it, because but I try to answer every question everybody answers. Even it might take me a while, but I will look at it. And I actually have found some question requests about a week or two later, and I go, I'm so sorry for this, and so but here's your answer. I'm sorry that it took so long. I just saw it right now. So if anybody wants to has any questions, please feel free to reach out. I'm pretty easygoing when it comes to that.
Manny, thanks so much for taking time to hang out with us here by the pool, by the locker, the end zone food court down here at All Star Sports. Thanks so much.
It's my privilege. Thank you very much, guys, for having me.
Caution athletes, speed bumps ahead. Caution athletes, speed bumps ahead.
Attention all proud parents and graduating seniors. It's that time of the year again. Caps and gowns are soon to grace the halls of our area high schools, marking the culmination of years of hard work and dedication. What better way to capture these precious moments than with a professional photo session? Harlow Photography specializes in capturing the essence of these milestone achievements. Whether it's individual senior portraits or family sessions to commemorate this special time, Stephanie Harlow is here to make your memories last a lifetime. Don't wait until the last minute. Schedule your photo session now to ensure availability, especially with the extended family in town for graduation celebrations. Let's create lasting memories together. Contact Harlow Photography today to book your session at sharlowphotography.com. Like Stephanie Harlow Photos on Facebook and celebrate your graduates' accomplishments in style.
All right, we want to say thank you to CMIT. Now, when it comes to managing your business, it's important to have the right technology. That's why CMIT works to help businesses. Short for Completely Managed Information Technology, CMIT offers everything a business needs. Their services include tech support, computer and server security, cloud backup, secure Wi-Fi, business phones, and more. With CMIT's help, your technology will stay up and running. For more information, go to cmitobx.com.
And CoinJock Catering Company. Place I love.
Oh, yeah.
Look to elevate your next event from ordinary to extraordinary. Look no further than CoinJock Catering Company. Whether it's a corporate luncheon, a wedding reception, a family reunion, holiday party, or any special occasion, CoinJock Catering Company will come to you with their on-site or drop-off catering, and you can hold your special event at their waterfront venue in CoinJock. Plus, there's CoinJock's catering food trucks, ready to serve their one-of-a-kind creations like the Redneck Egg Roll, brisket nachos, and Bang Bang Shrimp.
Your favorite.
I love that Bang Bang
I love
Shrimp.
those brisket
I love
nachos.
and James loves the Redneck Egg
Yeah,
Roll,
he
so
does.
the walkers are covered.
Yep. Carolina, I think, likes those too.
From their mobile kitchen when they pop up throughout the area, and at Morris Farm Market in Barco, open weekends 11 to 5:30. And CoinJock Catering Company is hiring for the season. Hours are weekends with some weekdays available, and the opportunity to work catering events with hourly pay, plus tips depending on position. To book CoinJock Catering Company for your next event or employment opportunities, call Louie or David at 704-502-8070 and like their Facebook page to find out their daily specials, locations, and more info.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody who's become a corporate champion of the Sam and M podcast and made it possible for us to do all the great programming we're so enjoy bringing you. It was great hanging out with Manny. I watched all the different people walk behind us and the looks we got. Like, who's this? Because remember, kind of the same thing as when we were at the table at Contemporary and who's coming to this table with the champagne buckets and all that. Yeah. We were kind of sort of getting the same looks. It was kind of, actually not, it was kind of cool. I'm not going to lie. And amazingly,
Sam may have a bit of an ego that has to be fed every now and then.
Every now and then, I'm not going to lie. It's kind of hard. Especially when you get on property and you start doing content creation and
Yeah.
things like that. So, yeah, you never know who's going to walk by and maybe become the sugar daddy or the sugar mama.
That's right.
But hanging out with Manny, you had something you wanted to throw in there. But hang on.
I just wanted to say a couple things that I learned from Manny. Not learned, but that I just think he kind of reiterated. And I think Manny and I have a lot of similar thought processes on things.
Yeah.
He said he really tries to, like, in the groups or when people reach out to him for information or they're upset
Yeah.
with something, how something is going at Disney. He likes to really look at it and be like, all right, is this a legit problem?
Right.
Is this a valid problem? Or is this something that maybe, that the person needs to understand there's only so much within Run Disney's control or a race. And I think he really, I think he said this, he said, I like to empower people that they can empower themselves. Like, I like to give them the information so that they can empower themselves. And it's not like a snarky, like, I don't want to, he wants to help you, but he wants you to understand you have that power to do it. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I just thought it was really cool. And I think Manny also, we didn't know this until the very end, but that he has got the 2 certificates to be a race director and do those things. So he has a lot of, like, knowledge, not only as a right, and not only just as a runner, but as a person who also is on the other side of it. So I think that's a kind of cool dynamic.
Yes.
And it actually makes sense going back and watching him. You can kind of understand some of his responses to stuff.
Yeah.
And he doesn't get caught in the riffraff. I have never seen him ever say anything negative anyway, or getting involved in all these long threads on Facebook and complaints and stuff. So I've never seen that. I think he's very direct and very good in empowering people. But I don't know, just getting to meet him, I was like, yeah, you're just as cool as you were on the YouTube channel. So what you see on YouTube channel is what you meet. And I just think he's an amazing man.
Kind of like us. Honestly, it's us. It's not, I'm not using the fake name on the radio like all these other DJs do, because I could never remember it. But at the same time, we put everything out there, and that's what's cool. Manny puts everything out there, but Manny's got an interesting insight, not only into Run Disney, but really you can apply, like, if you're thinking about getting into what we going to a 1 mile, going to one of these 5Ks on the beach weekly, or just running a 1 mile fun run. There's one that's going to be happening in the fall, a little 5K around the airport in Currituck. These little events, you can learn a lot from what Manny has to say running these huge events.
Right. You do not have to. You're exactly right. You do not have to just be interested in running Disney to watch Manny Runs Disney. I think you will learn. And honestly, if you're not a runner, I think you still would get such a positive feeling from him. Like, obviously there's a lot. It's running centric, but you're right. That's very key. Even though it's Manny Runs Disney, you could apply this to any run you did. That's very good and accurate. Yes.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up here on this bonus show episode number 1, 1A. And it's brought to you by StateLinePowerWash.com, Miles Carpet Cleaning, Harlow Photography, Caribbean Pools and Spas, CoinJock Catering Company, and CMIT Solutions of the Outer Banks. A follow, subscribe, hit the bell, and share. Find us on your favorite podcast app, YouTube, Facebook, 5 stars. Give us 5-star reviews. Interact with us and give us your thoughts, topics, or future episodes. You can do that at samwalkerobxnews@gmail.com. DM us on the socials. We love the comments on the post, but really it helps a lot of times to have us tag it, make sure you highlight it, even if you want to hit us up with the direct message. That way it's something we can make sure we talk about on the podcast. So next edition, the next bonus show, bonus 1B, we will be talking to more royalty in Run Disney, D.W. Burge, who has become another great friend online and now personally, and et cetera, through Run Disney. We loved hanging out with him. We kind of liked where we hung out with him too now. That will be on the next edition, so we will see you next time on the Sam
and M
podcast. Bye-bye.
Bye.